Okay, good afternoon, appreciate tutor and classmates. We are talking about for a task A, open discussion about the different tools in the technology and the social media and the youngest population in actuality. We are the group 119 and this is our class English 5.
Okay, the use of the social media in teenagers is a topic that allows us to talk about many things. Um, we know that young people face different situations daily and due to social media. Um, that many no that that many young people choose the social media and most live outside of reality within this media. However, today we are going to take some of the most important uses to take into account. We are going to share our opinions and views of them.
Okay, the topic is about the social media. For example, the Avengers, these Avengers, the social media. For example, I speak about the Avengers. The use of social media for me is, for example, the people don't need to meet to do homework or something of the work in house. They can do work for Sky. How we are doing it now. For me, that is very advantages.
It's true. I think that what one of the
What
advantages
do you do?
of social media is what you say is about the connectivity, right? We know that the social media is used by most of the people around the world, and it has been useful for people to be connected no matter where they are. Yes, it implies about talking with our family, talking in business, or meeting new people, learning about new cultures and so along. Yes, the use of social media has implied to be in contact with many people around the world, and it is for me a real great advantage because we know that, for example, in the past it was really difficult to be in contact with people and they had to send letters and wait for, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months to wait for an answer. So now the communication is immediately, and this is a really good advantage about the use of internet and about the use of social media in specific.
Lina, and it's your intervention is it's okay, but in the situation actuality, however, there are a larger number of the patient that cause anxiety and depression for the young people, since they highlight were insecurities about her bodies or sexual situation about the world, the diner, for example, in this moment, the situation in Colombia causing anxiety and depression for the young people. So, very appearing in the things or whatever. And I think that is most probably in the sexual abuse and in an older situation like a personal or whatever, like a page porn and the networks. For me, the technology teaching is a platform with a lot of good and contribution and information, and for example, YouTube, and I don't know, Instagram. I have a generate many creatives and different types, being helpful or various proposes, personal, academic, youth leisures, and whatever. And among and technology tools have a very along and young people, and these times have a many advantage compared to many of us. We are over 25 years old, like us in this meeting, since part of social networks have been modified, our learning proposes as we can a Facebook page for the teachers and the formation teachers like us, or the students too, where different academic strategies are shared for teachers in the different class can be more dynamic, or for a new guide information, or as a news students can make a various and different possibilities to having more information as a teacher or other students. And you can see in this moment, or you speak that the different passwords and the quickly the information, and is good, it's okay, but is work with quality, because it's a long part in the internet that is more information, and the young people, I think that is the page, the more page contains more information, and it causes very insecurities about different conforms or different residual depressions, or different types of depressions or anxiety.
Yes, I totally agree with you about, I think that cyberbullying, that is the word that better describe the situation. It's a really big disadvantage of the use of social media. I know that the use of that has a real impact in about how the teenagers specifically consider or conceive the life. Yes, I think that most of the time, for example, you open Instagram and you look famous people like having a perfect life without any problem, and
Our bodies.
perfect body, yes, and all those conceptions that is making us feel, I feel like also we as adults feeling like those we have to fit, we have to be, yes, we have to fit into those conceptions or those parameters. And also it is making that, or it is doing that teenagers don't accept or don't conceive other ways of thinking, or wearing clothes or anything. Yes, they don't accept everything which is not into those parameters, and it is moving teenagers to communicate hostile comments and to do bad actions against those other people who are not in the same way that they feel or they consider is the perfect model of life, and it is affecting our or their self-esteem, and it is a really bad problem because we are looking how teenagers are suffering of stress, depression, are anxious all the time to have this perfect life that the social media used to give us or used to show us. So I agree with you in that fact, and that is. I don't know what did you think, Pau, about it.
Okay, I agree with you because I think the social media have many advantages, mainly for communication, because nowadays communication has improved times to these types of these types of tools. So it's no longer necessary to send for example, a letter and wait for a response 3 months later because the other person will have received it instantly. And on the other hand, if the topic of the meeting people, um, um, for example, if I have a Facebook account, I have thousands of friends instantly, where most of them are strangers. But social media have made teenagers interact with uh, many more people and with the passage of time. Um, I know they facilitate the interpersonal communication even more, considering that they are also used in academic and educational environments. And no
Okay,
more.
now we speak. Uh, I speak about these advantages of the use of social media. For me, is for example, I talk about my daughter. Um, she can be on social media all day when she is eating, is on social media, and she her little with the family. I have to talk with my daughter about social media.
Yes, that is true. It's so common to see the people having all the time the phone on their hands and using, and it is hard to see how uh, maybe I know that you have seen that situation that you are at the restaurant and you see that people is like all the time and have their friends or the husband or the well just anybody in front and we are all the time typing and typing. It would be just it the use of social media is generating an addiction. Yes,
Mm,
and it is
yes.
something that we have to be conscious about it. And it looks like the face-to-face communication seems to be hard to deal for some people more than virtual ones, right? Because, for example, teenagers make use of emojis to communicate among them, and they are they are seeming to don't just to have some troubles to deal with the face-to-face communication. Eh, from my experience as a teacher, I have noticed that when you are trying to interact with them, they look anxious, they look no be able to communicate or to express their feelings in in an spoken way. They are because they are so used to talk among them in virtual environments and using emojis to express their feelings. So I agree with you in that aspect.
Okay.
It's true.
Now
It's not
we.
only the emojis. I'm sorry. It's not only the emojis. For example, young people or children in the actuality have different platforms like a TikTok, and I see in the street the children's dancing and speak. I know different type of music that is only in these platforms, like a short of music, and it's very true, and it's very sad too because I speak with the childrens. I give me or give me more internet for see my account. In this house have one children and one little girl, and she's all day all night looking only for this platform, and don't understand the different subjects that the school that is frustrated to try to learn one I don't know, English or mathematics or science. All day is in the phone. It's all in the phone, dancing.
Okay, we're going to continue with the following topic. The
Okay, the the dangers. In social media, there are a lot of dangers. There are a lot of people use the social media, they share sex videos, for example. Some adolescents can be need to use drugs and many times the suicide. My husband niece tried to suicide by the bullying of social media. Thank God did not die. That was terrible, the situation.
Yes, I think that there are many dangers and risks for teenagers. And we know that the social media interaction implies many things. No, we know that they are all the time sharing photos, videos, they are sharing, and during those interactions, we don't know how are we sharing or how are they sharing their private information, right? And we don't know in which moment this information would be taken for bad people to commit bad actions against them, right? And I think that nowadays anybody would be easily contacted and found. Yes, we have seen how many teenagers and adolescents have disappeared after being in contact with someone else through the social media because they have shared information. Or I sometimes I am on Facebook and I see like a girl with the clothes, the uniform of the school, and she studies in that school. Yes, they had been or they will be easily contacted, and it is a danger that that must be taken into account because it's so relevant how during those interactions on social media is showing all our private information that would be a risk for the teenagers.
yes, Lina, I agree with you in the part of the people privacy because I think that the social media have had a lot of access to the people privacy, and I think the risks and dangers in the social media are a lot. For example, I talking about sexual ¿cómo se dice eso? Harassment, yes, de ¿cómo se llama?
You want to say
so sexual content, como yes.
the adult content.
Ay, ahora, okay. Yes, bueno, I am talking about a privacy violation, influence on different unhealthy habits, for example, drugs, pornography, and bad decisions, and others, and others, other risk that I consider about the social media is the is that the social media made the teenagers have a bad relationship with the family, and it's produce the rebellious teenagers and I mean behavioral change with the other people, mainly the family and the ¿cómo se llama eso? In the personas cercanas.
Yes, the close people to them. I think that it is for the same reason that we were talking with Edna, and it is about how they have a conception about how the world and the life itself is, right? And we as adults, we don't think in the same way as them. Yes, for example, sometimes I talk with my sister and she's talking about things that I am like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. And she's just like, you are old. And it's for that, it's the same conception that it is that world in which they are involved, and it is maybe no the easy to comprehend by ourselves. But it's true what you say, Paula. They are exposed to know to and not appropriate content for their ages.
It's it's right. For me, the best way to be able to have more security in a social media or networks, it's all to generate from the home and listening to try to recreate security where her mental health is speaking for young people with clarity about these sections about this page and the different types to how to avoid sharing personal and texting information. Choose photos and information in general on these platforms about the schools, the interests, and the dreams, the friends, the houses, all information, private information. And I think that is very important from the home to school, speak with all the clarity about the different aspects for try to generate more security and prevent all possibles and unfortunately episodes in the future about her bodies or her mental health. That is more important.
Okay, how to prevent depression, social media? I think that the parents should share more time with the children and adolescents. We do think that they like it is very important to create tracks to talk about the situation that have been passed and seek help if necessary. I think that.
Yes, I think that also would be useful to control the time in which they are using the social media, right? Okay, in my case, if I had a teenager under my share, I think that that I would not allow them to have social media in my case. But if they are involved of that and we have allowed them to use usual social media, I think that will be useful to control the time in which they are involved or they are using it to prevent first, as we said before, an addiction, but also to do more activities that help us to deal with all the things that may or the pressure that social media has on their lives. Yes, I was talking about it the last week with my husband about all the recently events that we are looking here in our country. And I was really stressed about it, looking the videos, how the people is killing and injuring during those events. I think that is impossible to don't feeling anything, right? It has many, it gives us many sensations about all those situations that are happening, and it is something that it's happening. Yes, we're having information about what is happening. Yes, and it is a really good advantage. But on the other hand, we have the disadvantage to deal with that. Yes, in my case, it has had a really big impact on my life. The case of Lucas Villa, for example, was like, oh my God, that is incredible. I don't know why these kind of things happens, or looking how children are outside and the mothers, etc. Just like, oh my God, this is so hard, and I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how can I help. And this is a pressure that social media is giving at. So I think that it's healthy for mental healthy. Control the time and try to control how those those things are affecting our mental health.
Yes, it's true, because the the mental health is so important. And I think the only solution to provide, no. I think the solution to prevent depressions, anxiety, or and this kind of disease in teenagers is to provide psychological support the teenagers, and control the use of their social media, and without the boy or a girl being aware of this, because many parents have made their children remove them from the social circle, for not knowing how to control the use of their authority on the topic. If you, I think that if you love your son, you will help him making without making him believe that everything he does is bad. I think it's so important to um, provide the psychological support and the control within the teenagers now uh, about this, or
Okay, some things on started about the social media. For example, we cannot leave adolescents alone on social media. That's my opinion.
Yes, as I said before, if I had a teenager under my care, I wouldn't allow him or her to use the social media because of the things that we have already said. But I think that it's really important to control the time. Yes, to control the time, and also that they are under the supervision of an adult, right? And on the other hand, I think that we have to talk about the topic. Yeah, we have to talk with them about the advantages, but also the disadvantages or the risks that they have on social media, and be conscious about it. And they have to learn how to navigate safety. Yes, being sure that they are not providing extra information that it's not necessary.
Okay, the tips that I share with you about the security in social media. The first, a strong password is very important. By the topic, the personal security. Um, in, as in the role of parents, we can review friend requests and or people, the teenagers adds it's to her account. And um, other type is configure the privacy. Let's start by not putting the profile in public. Um, Other tip is uh, give information to the adolescents or the teenagers about the risk of sharing a lot of personal information in the social media. And no more. What's the what no what type do you have?
Did you want to add anything else, Edna? Maybe?
No, no more. I think that it's all about the different observations. I think that is true and it's okay, it's right. The different types to increase the security in the social media, the navigation in the internet. And I think that we have to try to change the different vision in the young people. Uh, and the adult people too, because have a wrong information in the social media, and the different positions and the politicians and the region and the security in our body and the form to try to have more money or whatever, and the typical tribe to study. And for me, okay, and it's clear and it's all, and I think that is very correct all about this meeting.
Yes, that's totally true. About the, as a conclusion to close with this discussion, we can say that we are agreeing the fact that social media and use of internet, but specifically the use of social media, has as many advantages as disadvantages and risk, right? And it depends of how we deal with those, right? We agree in the fact that teenagers shouldn't have access to social media because there are many risks for them, and they have to deal with so much information that maybe would not be the most appropriate for them. But also that we as a adults, maybe in our role as a teachers, we have a really big responsibility, and it is to, this is a reality, right? It is something that we can't avoid because is how the world interacts. But we as a teacher in our role, we have to help them, help teenagers or guide teenagers in how to use those those kind of tools, because at the end, those are technological tools that are present and are necessary too. But we have to help them how to make a correct use of that, controlling the time that they are spending on that in improve in order to have more time to interact in face-to-face environments, to study, develop different abilities, play soccer, I don't know, all the things that teenagers are supposed to do in their lives. We agree also in the fact that adult people adult people have to be in guiding them, yes, and that social media give us information, instantly information, but we have to be careful. They have to be careful about how they are interacting on those social tools. So I think that it's all. I don't know if you want to add anything else as conclusion for this discussion. And that's okay. So, so thank you
Yes,
so
we are
much.
sharing meaningful conclusions.
Okay, so I think that it's all for this discussion. Thanks for your participation.
Okay, thanks.